All right. It's Saturday morning, and this is class number 21 of the Millionaire Mentorship series, and it's part 3 of our New You for the New Year series. And what I'm going to do during this portion, I'm going to put us on mute. And then what we'll do after we complete the lesson, we'll hear from your victories, the great things that have happened to you over the week, and your lessons, the things that you got some experience from and probably would not like to happen again. All right, this week, we're at the third week of our cycle, New You for the New Year, and I see many of us folks are tuning in on our TV channel on the internet. You can watch us live, and also you can go back and watch it on demand at www.lifeskilltv.com. That's www.lifeskilltv.com. So it's available on demand on the internet at that website. Much of the lesson is based on our book and I guess many others that have accumulated over the years, the 12 Universal Laws of Success, which we've been sharing now, for over 10 years, and we're in 8 languages, and we get a constant flow of letters and emails from people who feel that the book has really changed their lives. So much of what we cover in our Millionaire Mentorship classes are taken from the book. Now, New You for the New Year, Part 3, Defining Your Goals and Objectives. Part 1 was Face the Fact, where you look at the way the current year has gone and, whether it was a year in which things went really, really well and you need to make some minor adjustments, or whether things did not go so well and you need to make some major adjustments. Part 2 was setting your sails for change. The direction of a boat, the direction of your life depends on the set of the sails. When you adjust the sails, and the sails are the things that motivate you, the things that give you energy, the things that drive you. And now, part 3 of the New You for the New Year series is defining your goals and objectives. Some people live their lives like stars on a predetermined trajectory to the end of their beginning, while others live their lives like thistles in the wind, going hither, thither, and yon. So which are you? Did last year just happen for you? Did you go from crisis to crisis, or from accomplishment to accomplishment? Did you go from failure to failure, or from almost to never was? So often a year goes by, and at the end of the year, it seems like it went by really, really fast. You look back and it seems like January was just, a few days ago. Well, one of the things that happens at the end of the year is our performance and where we are becomes very, very clear. And that's why we talk about face the facts. As you get to the end of the year and the holidays approach again, there's this thing of looking critically at where you are, because the new year is coming whether you like it or not. One of the main causes for failure, one of the main causes for the year being less productive than you would like it to be, is the lack of clearly defined goals. If you did not establish goals, and I mean written goals, for the current year, then you could surely not attain them. You can't hit what you can't see. Where there is no vision, the people perish. It is written that when there's no vision, failure is the result. You know, if you started out last year with clearly defined written goals, your vision, if you did not, then you will perish. And that doesn't mean you just die. It means you fail. You do not accomplish that which you set out to do. If you didn't set out to do anything, if last year just happened and you just sort of went along and got along, then surely there was nothing to accomplish and you lived your life like a thistle in the wind. Very often our lives are directed by other people's crises, by other people's desires, by especially if you're a helping type person. I think many of us on this call are helping people, people who want to help people do more, be more, people who want to be there for your friends. But you can look back over your life and you can see that other people's crises have basically sucked up your most valuable asset, which is your time. To make this year different and better than last year, you must determine your goals and objectives. As we approach this new year, it would be wise to spend some time writing down your goals and objectives, the things that you would like to do, be, and have over the next 12 months. A vision for yourself where December of next year, how do you want to look? How do you want to feel? What do you want the quality of your life? What possessions do you want to have? What are the relationships that you want to have? And so your goals are the outcomes desired, the result of your organized efforts. So you must set goals in each area of your life. You know, we have life cycles, and right now I know many of us who are in business for ourselves, we're in a cycle of business and production, where our most valuable time is spent generating income, building our businesses. And so sometimes our life can get a little out of balance. We say, those of us in business, we often experience short-term imbalance for long-term balance. You know, the seed of prosperity, when it is planted in the earth of potential, creates the result of the dream and the manifestation of that which you're seeking. But that dream, that seed, has a cycle. And so when you plant your seed, your desires, your goals, when you write them down, there's a cycle for them to be accomplished. And as a result, sometimes you focus on one area more than the other. But some of the areas we need to have goals, and we need to have personal goals. You know, in other words, our weight and our habits, and some of the things we want to do, be, or have. You know, habits that we'd like to encourage, or habits that we'd like to eliminate. We must have family goals. How do we want to get along with our family? What type of relationships do we want to create? You know, what the warmth that we want to create, the respect, how the family operates together. Professional goals. You know, many of us have jobs. I'm sure many of us on the call are not in business for ourselves, but in your profession, that which you do to make your living. Okay? And at some point, your profession may become how you live your making. But your professional, your career goals, where do you want to be in your business? Where do you want to be in your job? Your financial goals. And I think most of us on the call are interested in some type of business. And in being in business, one of the best ways to measure success in your business is have some very specific financial goals. You have community goals. We all live within a community, some type of community. How do you want to interact? You know, I have a block association, and one of my goals for this year is for next year is to be a little more involved with the block association, to look at when they have their meetings and to put them on my calendar so that I can participate. I think, one, I need to be plugged in, two, and I think the association needs me. But whatever your goals or objectives in each area, write them down and review them regularly. Let me say that again. Whatever your goals may be, write them down and review them regularly. You know, a Yale University study over a period of about 40 years found that only 3% of the graduating students had written goals that they reviewed regularly. But at the end of at least 20 years or so, those 3% were worth more than the rest of the graduates put together. The Habakkuk says that write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. In other words, if you don't write your vision, you can't follow it. You can't develop a plan to accomplish it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Every vision has a season. Every vision has a cycle. But in the end, it shall speak. It shall not lie. That if you maintain that vision, if you stay focused on that vision, it will happen. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come to pass. It will not tarry. And so what this is saying is that if you write your vision, if you write your goals, and you focus on them consistently, and you develop a plan of action to realize those goals, that if you just don't quit, if you keep working at it and don't quit, then that goal will be realized. As they say, it will speak, it will come to life. So let's look at a little bit about our goals so that we don't get off track. To attain your goals, they must be SMART. S-M-A-R-T. They must be specific. Many times folks will say, well, my goal is to be happy. My goal is to help others. My goal is to be a blessing to the world. That's fine, okay? But it's not specific. How do you know when you achieve it? So your goal must be specific. It must be definite, concise, and written. Written goals help you crystallize exactly what you want to accomplish. If you notice, when you write your goals, they become clearer and clearer to you. When you write a goal statement, just write it in 1 or 2 sentences. If your goal statement takes a whole page, you'll never be able to accomplish it. But if your goal statement can be laid out in 1 sentence, maybe 2, it's possible to accomplish it. Clearly define your goal in terms of the senses, how it looks, how it feels, how it smells, how it moves. One of the reasons that we like to use money as a goal measure is exactly because of that, because you can be specific about it. How much money? See your goals in terms sometimes of size, color, location. I wanted a car, a particular car. I got pictures of that car. I saw that car, and the amazing thing is the one that I got is exactly even the same color as the picture that I had printed off my computer 6 months ago. A short, simple, concise goal statement is easier to think about, remember, and to act on. M, your goal must be measurable to determine its dimensions. Okay? When a goal is measurable, you have a standard by which to analyze its estimated completion. Okay? If it's not measurable, then it's extremely difficult to project when you will attain it or how far you have to go. When you say, oh, my goal is to be happy, well, how does it feel to be halfway there? So how far you have to go, how much energy you have to expend to get there, are all determined by the measurability of your goal. So your goal must be specific, measurable. It must be set in advance. As we said, you live your life like a star on its predetermined trajectory. Each goal is a destination, a desired outcome for your endeavors. If it's not set in advance, then you can't make plans. Okay? Nor can you take effective steps to attain it. When you set a goal in advance, you give focus to your life and direction, to your thoughts and to your energy. Once you set a goal in advance and you focus on that goal, then you can really create a harmonic relationship with that goal based on how strongly you believe in it. Aura, your goal must be realistic. You know, one of the easiest ways to set ourselves up for failure is to select improper goals. And it's not that the goal is impossible, It just means it's unrealistic based on where you are at that particular state of development in that particular time. Make sure your goals are realistic and attainable for you based on where you are right now. As you progress along, we say success is a continuous realization of a worthwhile purpose. So each one of your goals should be a step towards that purpose, towards that vision that you want to realize. And so each goal builds on the other. And so if you can break a $1 million goal into, well, let's make $10,000 this first 6 months. Let's increase it to 20,000 the next, and then to 50, and then a graduated series of goals will lead you to your vision. And then finally, your goal must cover a definite time period. You must set a definite time by which to accomplish each goal. A definite time gives you a standard by which to measure and regulate your performance. If you give yourself an infinite amount of time, it will take an infinite amount of time to accomplish it. So time is a way of compressing your performance. It's interesting, when you task yourself using the time module, your level of performance increases to complement the time you set to accomplish it. If you notice, you say to yourself, I'm going to clean my studio in an hour. Then you adjust your activities and your energy to be finished in an hour. You see where it's going to be in an hour, and you start regulating your time minute to minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to accomplish that objective. This time period should be realistic in light of your level of skill, in light of the time available and the resources available. Don't set yourself up for failure by imposing, you might say, unrealistic time periods. The time is the way to put, you might say the time might be almost a goalpost, like in a football game. You say, I must accomplish this by the end of the month. When you write your goals, and they are smart, specific, measurable, set in advance, realistic, and they cover a certain time period, when you write them in great detail, then you can make a written plan. If you follow your plan consistently and persistently, your vision for the new year will be realized. And so, to recap, this part 3 of the New You for the New Year says to spend some time looking at your goals, developing your goals. Do a meditation. You know, think about this. If time did not matter and money was no object, you know, what would you like to do being half? Get beyond defining your goals in terms of your limitations and your failures and start to define your goals in terms of your possibilities for success. Well, folks, the idea of goals is that the goals are stair steps to the vision and the reality you see for yourself a year from today, or at the end of next year. When you set your goals, when you write them down, when you review them and recite them 2 or 3 times a day, you cannot fail. These goals, these recitation of the goals, create a vibration in your mind and a harmonic relationship to that which you're seeking that makes you magnetic. The law of attraction says that which you focus on with power, okay, you realize. In other words, what you energize, you realize. What you recognize, you energize. And what you energize, you realize. When you write your goals, you're recognizing the possibilities for your future and the possibilities for your success. When you energize your goals, that means that you give them your emotional nature and you read them over and over every day. You think about them. They're in your mind. If somebody says, what do you want to be, do, or have, you can rattle it off. That which you energize, which you constantly feed your mind, you realize in your life. Set your goals, write them down clearly and concisely, read them 2 or 3 times each day, paste them on your mirror, on your refrigerator. And if you do this over the next year, you can only have success. Only success in the new year. The new you for the new year is only success. Okay, folks, let me open the line for any questions, comments, or feedback. Okay, any questions, comments, or feedback? Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Ruby. That is, we must feed our minds. The quality of our lives depends on what we feed our minds. And we must choose to feed our minds good things, positive things. And based on what we feed our minds, I think it opens up our consciousness to a completely different experience of the world. One person can look out of a window and see smog, and another person can look out of the same window and see a cloud. So thank you so much, Dr. Bray. Any other questions, comments, or feedback? All right. Good morning. Well, I sure appreciate it. And, uh, you, you know, uh, one of the interesting things is the message comes when you really need it. So often, uh, I think we almost live our lives as open books and with open minds. And as you hear things, there's a tendency of the universe to bring that which you need at that moment in time into your space, into your life. And so I am happy. Thank you so much. Sometimes you have a book. One of our listeners was sharing, I think Shanae was sharing that she'd gone into the library one day and just closed her eyes and felt the books on the shelf. And when her hand stopped, she had the 12 Universal Laws of Success, and she started reading it, and it was a life enriching experience. And so we never know the message. I think the universe is completely full of knowledge, and we perceive of it based on our need to know, and our need to know drives us sometimes to study more, to search more, to seek more. And that need to know is like almost a hunger of saying, we're not who we want to be, and we don't know why, but we know it's got to be something else. It's got to be something more. And that seeking then prepares you to receive. All right. Any somebody's driving in a convertible with their top down, I can tell. Yes, any other feedback, questions, or comments? Yes, Greg, how are you today? Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you so much. All right. Any victories uh, this week, that things that you accomplished that you're really proud about, that you're really excited about? Any victories that anyone would like to share? Okay. Any lessons that anyone like to share? Something that a learning experience. You know, someone once said, a young man asked a very wealthy old man, he said, how do you achieve all this wealth and, and make money and become a great success? And the older gentleman said, well, right decisions. And he says, oh, well, how do you learn to make right decisions? And the gentleman says, experience. And he says, well, how do you get experience? And the gentleman said, wrong decisions. And so, and so the lessons that we learn in life are often more inspiring than the successes that we have, because each lesson provides us a foundation to, you might say, correct, to improve, to redirect our lives. And each lesson is for a purpose. Each lesson is for a purpose, and that purpose is always to guide us to a more complete realization of ourselves. We were put here to live life and live it more abundantly. And so each lesson that we have that may have been a little painful, may have been a disappointment, may have made you feel a little negative at the moment, is just the growing pains. If you can imagine the pain of a caterpillar, that profound metamorphosis where the caterpillar must literally shed his skin. Can you imagine how painful that is? But if that caterpillar does not shed his skin in that fashion, then he never becomes a butterfly. And it is like that with us. You know, we must be willing to experience failure. Failure, we literally fail our way to success. We must be willing to experience disappointment. We must be willing to experience all of the negative experiences, knowing that these are just layers that must be pulled away to find the diamond that we truly are inside. Any other questions, comments, feedback, victories, or lessons before we wrap up?
I read that, I thought the humanity of life and relationships are what's meaningful, not just chasing them. So as we go into the holidays and start a new year, may we just have balanced, wonderful lives. That's what I'm thankful for today.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Bray. That's, I think that's the absolute blessing, to be alive, to be healthy, and to be able to go another round. It's not how many times you stumble down, but it's the number of times you pick yourself up off the ground and keep moving on to meet your goals. All we need is love. All we need is drive to keep our soul alive.
Thank God for life management for you this day.
And so it is. Thank you so much. Folks, it's been a pleasure. Next Saturday, we'll be doing part 4, which is how to take action. And you will be properly armed for the upcoming year. These classes will also be being put into a series of blogs so that you can actually print them out and read them and use them for the future. We also have some special stuff going on our website, www.12uls.com. We call it the Millionaire Success Package, which is the combination of the book, the 12 Universal Laws of Success, the ebook, a workbook, so lots of DVDs and things like that, because next year is the one. Next year is our year for success. And so it is. I will see you at the bank.
So it is.
It is Herbert Harris. Bye-bye.
Conference recording has stopped.